Chapter 11. The judgment was set at the time of the end.
I would like to get to church a little early, Stella, if that's okay.
Yes, that's fine, darling. And for what reason?
I invited my boss David to come to my presentation on the book of Daniel, and he agreed to come. I have discussed with him the outline of world history from Daniel 2 and wanted to show him from Daniel 7 about the judgment in response to the little horn.
I will be praying, darling, that the Lord will give you the words to speak that will bless your boss.
Martin looked around nervously at the front of the church, hoping to see David.
You waiting for someone, Martin?
Good morning, Pastor Bruce. Yes, I invited my boss to come hear my presentation on Daniel 7.
Well, I will be praying he comes.
Thanks, Pastor.
Right then, David appeared in a nice three-piece suit.
Glad you could make it, David.
You are a fair way out of town here, but it's a nice place. I am interested to see your thoughts on Daniel 7. It's been quite a while since we last talked. Life gets busy.
Yes, it sure does. I kept this seat for you with Stella and Kai.
Nice to see you again, Stella.
Thanks for coming, David. It means a lot to Martin that you would come and listen.
My pleasure, Stella. Nice to get a little further out of town and worship with you on your Sabbath.
After a time of singing and some announcements to the church, Martin stood to speak.
Happy Sabbath, everyone. I would like to especially welcome my boss from the United Methodist Church that I work with at Wesley Mission.
David nodded and waved to the others in the congregation.
I would like to turn to our key Bible text this morning, and it is found in Daniel 7 verses 9 and 10. I watched till thrones were put in place, and the Ancient of Days was seated. His garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head was like pure wool. His throne was a fiery flame, its wheels of burning fire. A fiery stream issued and came forth from before him. 1,000 thousands ministered to him. 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The court was seated, and the books were opened. Daniel 7, 9 through 10. The question we must ask is, when does this judgment take place where God opens the books and commences this work of judgment? Daniel 7 leaves us in no doubt as to the timing of this judgment. In the beginning of Daniel's vision, he sees 4 beasts come forth from the sea. These 4 beasts represent 4 great kingdoms that rule the earth during different periods of history. This is all found in Daniel 7, 2 through 7, which I will read for you. Daniel spoke, saying, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the 4 winds of heaven were stirring up the great sea, and 4 great beasts came up from the sea, each different from the other. The first was like a lion, and had eagle's wings. I watched till its wings were plucked off, and it was lifted up from the earth, and made to stand on 2 feet like a man, and a man's heart was given to it. And suddenly another beast, a second, like a bear. It was raised up on one side, and had 3 ribs in its mouth between its teeth. And they said thus to it, Arise, devour much flesh. After this I looked, and there was another, like a leopard, which had on its back 4 wings of a bird. The beast also had 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a 4th beast, dreadful and terrible, exceedingly strong. It had huge iron teeth. It was devouring, breaking in pieces, and trampling the residue with its feet. It was different from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. Daniel 7, 2 through 7. Daniel tells us in verse 17 that these beasts represent 4 kings or kingdoms that shall come upon the earth. Verse 18 indicates the idea of a kingdom rather than simply a king by the fact that the saints possess the kingdom. The vision given to Daniel is a continuation and expansion of the dream given in Daniel 2. The image in Daniel 2 outlines human history from 600 BC as a succession of 4 kingdoms, followed by a division into 10 kingdoms, which is then followed by the second coming of Christ. When we turn to Daniel 7, we see a succession of 4 beasts or kingdoms, and the final kingdom grows 10 horns. These 4 beasts represent the same sequence of history, but this recounting of the history of the human race adds more details that were not present in Daniel 2. The 4 great kingdoms of world history are 1. Babylon, 2. Medo-Persia, 3. Greece, and 4. Rome. The 10 horns represent the breakup of the Roman Empire into the 10 powers of Europe around the end of the 5th century. Then Daniel tells us of the rise of another power that was different from the first 10, and actually plucked up or destroyed 3 of the 10 nations. I was considering the horns, and there was another horn, a little one, coming up among them, before whom 3 of the first horns were plucked out by the roots. And there in this horn were eyes like the eyes of a man, and a mouth speaking pompous words. Daniel 7:8. There is only one power that fulfills all of the criteria listed in Daniel 7, and that is the papal power of the Roman Church.
Martin referred to a PowerPoint slide on the screen to reference these criteria used to establish these key points.
We do not wish to spend a lot of time studying the little horn power because our focus is the judgment mentioned in verses 9 and 10 of Daniel 7. What is important is the interpretation that was given to Daniel in the vision as to how long was the career of the little horn power until the judgment. The 10 horns are 10 kings who shall arise from this kingdom, and another shall rise after them. He shall be different from the first ones, and shall subdue 3 kings. He shall speak pompous words against the Most High, shall persecute the saints of the Most High, and shall intend to change times and law. Then the saint shall be given into his hand for a time, and times, and half a time, but the court shall be seated, and they shall take away his dominion, to consume and destroy it forever. Daniel 7:24-26. There is a period referred to as the time, times, and half a time, during which the saints of God are subjected to this little horn power until the court in heaven sits. We need to look elsewhere in the Bible to work out what this time, times, and half a time is with reference to time. The book of Revelation tells us of this same time period from a different perspective, through the symbol of the woman who fled into the wilderness to flee the power of the little horn. This woman represents a church who hid in the mountains and forests, away from the papacy, so that it might worship freely according to the dictates of its own conscience. I quote, "Then the woman fled into the wilderness, where she has a place prepared by God, that they should feed her there 1,260 days. Revelation 12:6. But the woman was given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness to her place, where she is nourished for a time and times and half a time from the presence of the serpent. Revelation 12:14. The Bible equates the time, times, and half a time to 1,260 days. A time is equal to a year, or 360 days according to the Hebrew prophetic calendar. Times is equal to 2 years. 360 plus 720 plus 180 equals 1,260. The Bible makes use of the day for a year principle in a number of places in Scripture. We must let the Bible interpret itself and define its terms. And when you have completed them, lie again on your right side. Then you shall bear the iniquity of the house of Judah 40 days. I have laid on you a day for each year. Ezekiel 4:6. We then ask the question, did the papal power rule the world for a period of 1,260 years from about the 6th century? Indeed, it did. The Emperor Justinian granted to the Pope his seat and authority in 533 AD. But this decree could not go into effect until one of the 10 horns, the Ostrogoths, who ruled Italy and blocked the papal power, was removed. This occurred in 538 AD. Exactly 1,260 years later, Napoleon ordered his Huguenot general, Berthier, to take the Pope prisoner in 1798. This ended the papacy's ability to use the state to enforce men to believe in her dogmas. Therefore, it is after the time of 1798 that the judgment mentioned in Daniel 7 commences. We do not have time to address the further detail concerning this judgment in Daniel 8, except to simply state here that the judgment takes place a few decades after 1798 AD. After this judgment is completed, Daniel 7 tells us that the kingdom will then be given to the saints of the Most High. This refers to the coming of Christ, mentioned in Daniel 2, 34 through 35, 44 through 45, the stone cut out without hands. These are both references to the same event. Then the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdoms under the whole heaven shall be given to the people, the saints of the Most High. His kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions shall serve and obey him. Daniel 7:27. This period from 1798 onwards into the judgment is referred to as the time of the end. I quote, "Although I heard, I did not understand. Then I said, My Lord, what shall be the end of these things? And he said, Go your way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed till the time of the end." Daniel 12, 8 and 9. If you did not catch all the detail, that is fine. The key point to remember is that from the time of Daniel, there would be 4 kingdoms followed by a division of the 4th kingdom, Rome, into 10 nations. 3 of these would be destroyed to make way for the Little Horn Power, which would reign for 1260 years until 1798 AD. It is shortly after this, according to Daniel 8, that the judgment takes place. This transition from the pagan power of Rome to the papal power of Rome is referred to as the setting up of the abomination that makes desolate. For ships from Cyprus shall come against him, therefore he shall be grieved, and return in rage against the Holy Covenant, and do damage. So he shall return and show regard for those who forsake the Holy Covenant. And forces shall be mustered by him, and they shall defile the sanctuary fortress. Then they shall take away the daily sacrifices, and place there the abomination of desolation. Daniel 11, verses 30 and 31. This is because the core principles of paganism practiced by Rome in its pagan state, which involves sacrifices of appeasement to its pagan gods, Jupiter, Mars, etc., were transferred over into Christian Rome. Jehovah was worshipped according to many of the ideas of paganism, modified into a Christian form. The reason it is a desolating power is because through craft it proclaims to preach the gospel when in fact it cannot save the soul, thus desolating the human heart's ability to grasp hold of the salvation of Jesus Christ. I know I have covered a lot of territory here. Some of this may not feel that relevant to the salvation we have in Jesus. But Jesus himself told us that we should know the book of Daniel. Without this book, we cannot unmask the Little Horn Power with its gospel infused with pagan principles. We do not speak of individuals in this system, for many are dedicated to God in the best way they know how. But this does not change the fact that the gospel preached by this system does not save the soul, but rather desolates it. It is for this reason that God sends a special message at the time of the judgment that includes the preaching of the everlasting gospel. Then I saw another angel flying in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach to those who dwell on the earth, to every nation, tribe, tongue, and people, saying with a loud voice, "Fear God and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment has come, and worship him who made heaven and earth, the sea, and springs of water." Revelation 14, 6-7. We are living in this time. We are living in the time of the judgment, just before the second coming of Christ. I appeal to you all to make your calling and election sure. The time is far spent, and the hour is at hand. Let us repent, and be ready for the soon coming of Jesus Christ.
With that, Martin ended his sermon, praying that David would consider it. David paused as he shook Martin's hand at the door on the way out.
Plenty to consider there, Martin. Definitely something to pray about.
This is the reason we feel a sense of urgency for the coming of Christ. We don't have much time left. The book of Daniel confirms this.
I see your point, Martin, about why you feel urgent. But if you go straight to heaven when you die, then why is there such a sense of urgency? The second coming effectively takes place for every person when they die, doesn't it?
That is a great question, David. Maybe we can visit our friend Apollo in Central Park sometime and discuss this question of immortality and how we obtain it.
Okay, Martin. I'm interested in your thoughts on this. Let me digest all this for a while and I will get back to you.
No problem, David. I shall wait for your call.